Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Cheruiyot and this is MCK TV. Today on this episode we have a very special guest on the show, and without further ado, let's welcome our guest and let him introduce himself.
Thank you very much, Mercy. This is Geoffrey Cheruiyot, a trainer from Resource Technical. Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show. Let's dive right into the questions. What is TVET?
Maybe before I go to talk about TVET, I've said my name is Geoffrey Cheruiyot. I'm a trainer at the Resource Technical. I also double up as the person in charge of careers and counseling, which I call the mainstay of every career. Before a trainer or a trainee is admitted into a technical college or into an institution of higher learning, it's paramount to know what the person wishes to do. I'm also the institutional administrator for the tracer study, which was actually commissioned recently by the government.
Okay, and why do you think that TVET is the best way to empower the youth in Kenya?
TVET actually is an acronym. It's an acronym of technical, vocational, entrepreneurship and training, which actually focuses on the skills. We realize that the industry nowadays we need to really focus so much on the skills. The skills know-how, because these are the skills. Skills are the ones that actually drive the industry, as opposed to the profession. We go deep into the career, we go deep into the skills. Again, as you have had TVET being an acronym, there is the aspect of technical, which actually deal with so much, that is actually the skills. Then we talk about vocational, and then we talk about entrepreneurship. As opposed to these people going to the market for employment, other than employment, we are really so much focused on the youth being the creators of wealth themselves, as opposed to people who are going to be employed. We really focus on the youth themselves going into the market, going into the field, and creating the wealth.
Okay, and what are the classifications of TVET institutions in Kenya?
The TVET institutions in Kenya, they are classified, they are different, but we classify them into around 4 of them. I believe, Mercy, during maybe your days when you're around in our villages, after high school or after class 8, there used to be the so-called village polytechnics. Nowadays they are called vocational centers. And when you go to maybe almost in every location or maybe in every ward, there is a vocational center. That is the lowest, and the vocational center will admit students who have completed class 8 and those who have not completed class 8, as long as they are able to read and write. Because what we are so much interested is we are so much interested about their skills. Now, the second level are the new technical colleges that was started recently. They are called vocational, they are called TVCs. TVCs, these are technical vocational training centers. The entry into that place, you realize that they are able to admit students, some of them who have completed class 8, others who completed Form 4, but passed with. And Mercy, whenever I'm talking to youths, I really like this. We say pass with, we don't say fail with, right? Because there is no failure, right? So we normally say those students who passed with maybe a grade or maybe an E, a D minus, D plus, D plus, C minus, C. All right?
Yeah.
Now, they will do different courses from artisan, craft certificates to diplomas. And then we have higher on the TVCs, we have technical training institutes. Now, these ones are a bit, they were started much earlier. They are a bit more developed in terms of infrastructure and human resource. And then we have the national polytechnics. Currently, there are so many of them, almost in it is the intention of the government that very soon in every county they are going to have a national polytechnic. But the traditional ones, we have places like Eldoret, Kisii, PC, Kinyanjui, Kitale, and others, right? And then we have a TVET institution that is geared towards producing human resource, those people who will train in these institutions. And that is the Kenya Technical Teachers Training College. Yeah. And then from there, we also have universities that train technical. That is, we have TUK, and we have the TUM. TUK is a Technical University of Kenya, that is in Nairobi. Formerly, that is formerly the Nairobi one, and then we have formerly Mombasa National Polytechnic now has also transited into a technical university.
Okay, I've heard you talk about class 8, I've heard you talk about Form 4. So for the purpose of clarity for our audience, who exactly qualifies for these TVET institutions to enter?
TVET institutions, as I've told you, TVET standing for, that is technical, vocational and entrepreneurship training. We are so much geared towards developing the skills, right? And these are people who actually do the actual job. There are people who actually do the actual job. And we start from, we have artisans, that is the lowest level. Now, when you go to the vocational centers, they do the trade tests. All right? Yeah. They do more than 90% of their work is practical. More, it is actually psychomotor, what they are able to do with their hands. All right? Yeah. They should be able to manipulate and work with their hands. All right? As opposed to knowledge, as opposed to whereby they do a lot of theory. Yeah. But now, when you go to the artisan, that is artisan NEC, Kenya National Examination, yeah. The council examination. And those who qualify for a class 8 will take 2 years. For a KCSE graduate, yeah. will take 1 year, right? And when you move after that, you go to craft certificate. A craft certificate, one who did artisan qualifies for craft certificate. And presently, those who have attained a grade of a D and a D plus will also go direct into the craft certificate in whatever course, all right? And then after craft certificate, they go to diploma. That is a path for the TVET graduates. Eh? You go to diploma. For someone who did craft, can go to diploma 2, year 2. And then that one who did, who is entering directly with a C and a C minus, will go direct to diploma starting with year 1. So the person who did craft has an advantage of doing diploma in 2 years. Someone who did artisan will do craft for 2 years and a diploma for 2 years as well. So to graduate from artisan to diploma, then one will take about a minimum of 5 years.
Okay, I hope that is clear. And talk to us about the career paths in these TVET institutions.
Now, as I've told you, the career path is actually what I've told you, that someone who is entering, initially, after class 8, someone would just be, it will be game over for that person, Mercy. But nowadays, you realize that after class 8, somebody can find a line, all right? Can find a career path or a line, personal. Somebody can customize a trade for himself or herself and begin with artisan, all right? That is the career path. From artisan to craft, from craft to diploma, from diploma to degree, all right? And you realize that, in fact, I've actually trained at the resource for about 11 years now. And curiously, I've had students who have graduated from artisan to craft and diploma. Others delved into the university. And we have some who actually went to KTTC to train as teachers. Some of them have managed to get jobs with public service. We have one, Mercy, a very good student who started with artisan. By the time she did her diploma, her work was fantastic. You would not know that this person started with artisan, and she could not even compete with graduates when they attended the interview.
Okay, and what are the ways of financing the trainees of these institutions?
Mercy and our viewers, the reason why I decided to empowering youth, or talking to youth about empowering them through technical education, is because of my background. Though personally I went directly into the university, but I lost so many years, Mercy. I lost so many years. I always say we went to TVET, adding animals, doing kibarua, kuchuna chai, sometimes maybe even trying to get some casual job at the tea estate. At some point, I did black tea for about 2 weeks at Cheruiyot estate. And something, and I believe Mercy will not quote me, and maybe I may not could do so much, is that I actually delayed in school by up to around 5 years. My age mates who went through, went ahead of me by up to around 5 years. I delayed in school. Basically because of access to education through finance. Initially, you could not be in school if you are not financially able. So nowadays, we realize that the government actually appreciates the fact that we need to make education accessible to everyone, right? So the government saw, before I talk about financing, Mercy, is that when you look at the transition, if you take that transition for maybe about 3 or so years, for those of you who followed the results that were released the other day for Class 8, the Class 8s we had 1.1 million did KCPE, and we believe they transit to high school. Now the biggest challenge is transition from high school to other institutions after high school. Now the one whose career path somewhat looks like it is definite for them are those who qualified for the university, traditionally, all right? Now, if you remember, the results that was just released, 741,143, I believe those were the figures, did KCSE. Those who managed to attain a grade of C+ and above are only 141,000. Mas, wengine 600 and what? Now you do your math. 741 or that kind of a thing, then you remove, or 43, remove 141 who qualified to join the university. Now we have about 600 and 1,000, but 600 for 4 leavers will not join the university. Where do you take them? Now, the year before, the transition was again about 17 point something. The transition for the just released KCSE results, transition was about 18.2. The previous year, transition from high school to the university was about 16 or 17 point something. And when you track down for the last 10 years, you realize that transition was ranging between 14, 15 to 18%. Now, during the time of parallel, when the results was actually a challenge, massive, because of cheating and other things, transition went up to 22%. Now, my challenge is, or the biggest problem here was that And that was actually the problem that the government faced. If the transition to universities was 22%, where do you put 78%? If transition like for this year, 18.2, where do you put 82% of the youth? So it's just a time bomb, mercy. It's a time bomb that the government looked at when the Jubilee government came in 2013. They are not even 2013, I think much earlier during the time, they actually saw the transition was very low. And they came up with financing models. Now, one thing was that what the government did, when we do about financing, financing is about, I can actually put, according to me, there is infrastructural financing, whereby the government provides infrastructure in technical colleges, building and equipping them. Number two is providing finance for human resource. Like the other day, the public service has employed technical teachers about 3 times. And then the other one, and the one which I know will be so juicy with our youth, is tuition and subsistence financing. That is how I put it. Now, what the government did in 2018, initially there's been a transition. What the government did in 2008, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, they provided, they enhanced the infrastructure. They came up with centers of excellence in some of the technical institutions. Like, for example, in Lesotho, we were given center of excellence in electrical and electronics. We were also given center of excellence in building. Now, what happened is that after that, the government moved ahead and they realized that still technical education was not attractive. Not because people did not want to join, youth did not want to join technical institutions, but it's because tuition financing was a problem. So what they did, the government did in 2013, was to make health loan accessible to TVET trainees. And actually that one, Massey, really lifted our enrollment in technical colleges all over. And then the government came in as well, and by the way, the government has now built a technical institution in every constituency in this country. Those who have not had technical institutions built, they are completed, but at least some work is going on.
Okay, we are going to talk about the technical institutions.
Now, 1 minute, Mercy, about financing. What is so unique is about this financing, especially on tuition and subsistence. Now, in 2013, I've told you TVET trainees accessed help loan. Yeah. So at that time, the fees was around 72,000. And students could access help loan between 20 and 40,000. But still, the transition was not satisfactory. And way back in 2018, then the government introduced what we call capitation. Now, capitation, this is the amount of money that a trainee access immediately upon setting foot into a technical institution. Massive. You can go to school and you don't ask your father any money. Right now, you can go, anybody, you can now go to technical college without paying anything. Because the government gives 30,000. The government reduced fees from 72 to 56,420. Then after that, the government introduced capitation, lowering the fees again from 56,420 to only 26,420. Thereafter, the trainee can ask for loan from Higher Education Loans Board. 26,420 will go to school, around 13,000 and something small there remain for the student, which will be dispersed twice. Immediately the fees is paid to college or the institution, the student or the trainee is given 6,500 out of pocket. And then in the second term, given another 6,400. Now you realize that TVET is free. And it's only those who don't want to go to school are the ones who remain at home. But if there is anybody who is so thirsty to get some form of education, to empower himself, then education is almost absolutely free. And I want to tell you, Mercy, apart from those days whereby you would go to, you send letters, today like Olesos, you come to Olesos on Monday, you are admitted the same day. Unaenda pale, unapewa parua, unapewa class yako, then you only look for, you want to stay in school, something very small, you get a room outside there, and you settle without even involving your parents. You see? So students, please, Form 4s, those who finished Form 4, we don't have failures. As I've said, Nancy, we pass with a grade. We don't fail with a grade.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, for the higher percentage that remains at home, can you tell them some of the examples of the TVET institutions that they can join in the region or anywhere so that they can stay at home? Because we've had a higher percentage really stays at home.
Now, now before we look at this issue of, if I give you examples of the institutions that are around our home, now I realize that everything revolves on information, that is one. Knowing what to do and where. Number two is about financing as well. Now, realize that truth about it is that not many of us are endowed with resources. You realize that most of these people who go to TVET institutions are those who graduated from day schools. And those who go to day schools, most of them, about 60%, have got financial challenges. That is why the government, after 2013, decided to build a technical college or institution in every constituency. So like now in Paret here, we have a place called Paret Technical. And in Kanoin constituency, we have one at Koiwa, near Koiwa Market, Kanoin Technical. When you go through here, Belgut, we have Belgut Technical. And then when you go to Kericho, we have Ainamo, TTI, and many others. Now, as you move, we have, those are TVCs. Then we have technical training colleges, like when you go to Eldoret, we have RVTI. Nakuru, we have what we call the Harvest. Then we have national polytechnics here next to us. We have Kisi. Then we have Eldoret. And many others in this country. All right? Now, what is very important, the massive, I always ask students, when I meet for graduates or youth assembling anywhere, I ask them. And then many of them, they say they are planning to join college. When you ask somebody, I want to give an example, like you ask somebody now, and then say, now I'm planning to go to college in September. Alafu namuuliza now, as you are planning, what do you plan to do? They don't know. And then before you know, it's very important to know what you plan to pursue so that you can get to know the best college that offers the course. Now, for example, under the TVCs that the government established recently, is that they established along what we call Center of Excellence. All right? Like in Belgut TVC, they are given Center of Excellence in fashion, garment making and fashion, secretarial and ICT. When you go to a place called Kimashan, it's mechanical. When you go to Kiptaragon, that is Kiptaragon, they are given Center of Excellence in food processing. When you come to Koiwa, the same. When you come to Olesos, we had Center of Excellence in electrical and electronics building, and we also have the recently established one is Center of Excellence in hospitality management. Now, what is very important for our trainees, all right, apart from the ones that are around, institutions that are around, it is very important to know your passion, the career you wish to pursue, so that once you know the career you wish to pursue, you go, yes, you get a college that has got Center of Excellence. Now, center of excellence means, like when you come to a resource, we were given equipment worth so many millions for electrical and electronics. The latest is hospitality, where we were given a brand new building. We were given equipment worth over 100 million, and they are now extending the hospitality center, all right?
Yeah.
Because we actually have it as a center of excellence. So it's very important for our youth, Mercy, get to know your passion, what you wish to do. Once you know what you want to do, then you align yourself to a given college. And you go to a place where facilities, in terms of infrastructure, and also human resources are available, and they have a long history of good performance. Because what we are after the skills. We are not after the certificate. We want a plumber who can do the job, all right? We want somebody electronics who can actually repair a TV, very smartly. We want a civil engineer who will do the job, all right? That is it.
Okay, and you've mentioned a few of the courses that are offered. Can you please elaborate other courses that students can come and pursue in these institutions?
Now, when you go, it depends. The number of courses that are offered in the institution, like the ones that were starting the other day, like I've given you Belgu Technical, the courses that I have is along fashion, ICT, all right? Then they have established business courses and others. Now, but when you come to a resource, we have got about 9 academic departments in a resource, all right? And I think for the purpose of time, Mercy, it's imperative, maybe I would only mention about the departments. We have the department of, nowadays we call it a school of business, because that is where many of the students are, all right? And we have got so many courses. And I have said, right from artisan, all right? And to qualify for artisan in storekeeping, you only need a D+. You need to have passed with a D+. And I want to insist, not failing with D+, but passing with D+. D-. A student will pursue storekeeping. Then after that, we'll go to procurement, APCD. But one good thing, again, after completing this storekeeping, that requires a D-. Then a student can diversify thereafter. Go to business management, certificate, or procurement, all right, courses within the business. Then we have applied sciences. Applied sciences, this is where we train science lab, we train applied bioanalytical chemistry, we have chemical engineering, we have petroleum and petroleum studies, all right, within applied, okay? We have applied statistics, a very good course where people can do, somebody can do applied statistics to qualify as a planner. And then we have hospitality management, and under hospitality department, we have hospitality courses, food and beverage, catering and accommodation, starting from artisan, all right? And then we have human nutrition, foods and nutrition, all right? And we are actually doing very well in foods and nutrition at the resource. We are doing very well. We start with certificates all the way to diploma. And then we have Department of Electrical and Electronics, again, starting from artisan to diploma. And then we have automotive and mechanical. Again, they start from artisan, D- to diploma, all right? And then we have secretarial and allied studies. We have medical department where we train laboratory sciences and environment, all right? And then which other department have I not mentioned? We have ICT, which is now everywhere, all right? We train ICT, different courses in ICT department and library studies. Those are, then we have agriculture, all right? Agriculture, you remember, maybe when you read from history of our country, Mercy, is that we used to be told that ukulima ni uti au Congo wa taifa letu. And then after that, we were coming to tourism and other things, okay? So we have Department of Agriculture, which is doing very well, all right? Plus others. And in fact, we are revamping all of them. We are revamping all of them. Olesos, we want to make it as a center of excellence in every department. And the administration of Olesos is really pursuing the same. We hope very soon to be upgraded as National Polytechnic of Nandi. Our student population is past 6,000 mark, which was the target that we were given. We intend to make it before the end of this year. We are targeting, and God willing, and I know we shall make. Of course, with your support.
Yeah.
When you actually make people know from our place here, then they will come to our place, and we'll make it up to 8,000 plus.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be beneficial to our youth.
Yes. Okay, so you've talked about, you've said that you are a trainee at Olesos TTI, and what is the competitive advantage that Olesos has compared to the other institutions in the region?
Thank you very much, Mercy. We have a leverage over others. Now, the leverage that we have over others is that apart from the technical competencies that we give to our trainees, we are so much concerned about the overall development of our youth. Now, when you talk about our youth, we are talking about someone who is 18 years to around 34. Now, nowadays, because of 844, we realize that students even go to college as young as 16 and a half years, 17. We don't deny them. We allow them to go to school, all right? So one of the biggest advantage that we have at Olesos is the spiritual welfare of the students. Our institution is sponsored by the ACK, which is a Christian organization, and they've seconded chaplain to our institution. We have a very strong guidance and counseling department to assist the students, right? Yeah. The Dean's office is revamped and is doing very well, okay? Yeah. Number two is that we are a powerhouse in the innovation. You know, we have a department, a non-academic department like this one of careers, that deals with research. And we have projects that have been propelled up to the national level. We intend to go even to international markets. We are now doing a research on one of the foods which is grown around the pumpkin. We have a project, we are actually coming up, we have a research project that is running, we are working on, right? So we actually follow, we create a lot of bunker points to research, all right? Because we are so much determined developing someone who will go to the market and knows what to do, not someone who is going to be trained in the market, all right? Another competitive advantage that we have as Olesos is our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is quite elaborate. We have lecture theaters, all right? We have laboratories, and they are equipped. We have the best. When you go to building department, we have the best equipment there. Yeah. You go to survey, that is within, that is survey. You come to hospitality, complete, very good one, right? And then when you go to electrical and electronics, we have a very big workshop, completed with equipment. Now, finally, we have a human resource. We have members of the teaching staff, almost 200, over 170 members of the teaching staff, all right? So we even go as far as some classes that are large, we divide them so that they can easily be managed, all right? Yeah. Because we want people who come out who are competent. We don't want half-baked. We want people who go to the industry to create wealth. We don't want employers to go and incur some other expenses to train someone who government has allocated a lot of money to train.
Yeah. Okay, finally, as we come to the end of the show, what is your parting shot to the youth and the parents and the leaders of our country?
My parting shot.
Yeah.
Let's embrace TVET. All right?
Yeah.
Let's embrace TVET as a way of creating wealth. All right?
Yeah.
Let's embrace TVET. Let nobody stay at home just because they passed with lower grade.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever the grade, let people go to school. Quite available. As I have said, I'm a trainer at the source. All right?
Yeah.
My home area is in Litain. I have a lot of business interests in Litain. Quite available every other time. Now what I do is that I make youth access the institutions they want. All right?
Yeah.
As maybe when someone come, finally I will ask them to come to the source. I make them access the technical colleges around.
Yeah.
All right? Based on what they want to do. All right? I assist them to go to school. Let's not fear going to school because finances are there. We go to school not because we have, because we don't have, and we want to improve our livelihood.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Even Mercy, you can also come for you can come for CPET in beauty therapy.
Okay.
Come for CPET in air tracing. Can come for CPET in bakery, and so that you add up. When you are here, there is a salon running somewhere.
Yeah.
There is a boutique running somewhere. All right.
Yeah.
So we no longer tie you. All right. Come for the skill that you want. That is the course that we call the CPET. I forgot to talk about.
Yeah.
But the CPET means you come and look for a particular skill and train on that skill. All right. And then you go out with the competencies based on the skills that you have acquired,
Yeah.
and start a business.
Yeah.
And remember, I've earned it starting a business
Yeah.
because we trained our youth, we train our trainees to go and create wealth.
Yeah. Thank you, Mwalimu, for coming to our show today. It's been a great pleasure having you in our show, and we hope to see you in the future. And thank you, our viewers, for always supporting us. Thank you for always joining in on the show. And please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you can get our videos every time that we post. And remember, you can be the change you want to see. Thank you and bye.